Hello Internet, I'm Evitel.
My name is Taliesin.
And this is an appeal on behalf of Bellulade.
Every time I click my fingers, something new is data mined from the PTR. A new armor set perhaps. And every time I click my fingers, Bellular has to make another new video covering that new information.
What for you may take just seconds to read about and enjoy is literally hours out of Bellular's life.
This is a humanitarian crisis. Blizzard are putting new patches onto the PTR at an unprecedented rate, and YouTubers like Bellular are suffering. He hasn't left the house in 2 weeks.
For him, there are no sunsets, only the cool purple LED lights in his home office, although they are pretty cool.
But with Bellulade, there is hope. Because for just £5 a month, you can help save the life of a WoW YouTuber during the 7.3 crisis.
With just £5, we can buy 2 bottles of shower gel, so on the rare occasions when he's able to wash, he can.
With just £5, we can supply Bellular with enough pot noodle to see him through the editing process of an entire 7.3 video.
And £5 will pay for a phone professional to call Bellular's phone when he goes more than 24 hours without uploading a video, just to check he's alive.
And our work here at Bellulade extends to other WoW YouTubers struggling under the weight of 7.3 as well. With just £5, we can help Panzer find 40 things about 7.3.
So next time you see that Blizzard have added yet something else to the PTR, remember, you can help. Donate to Bellulade today, and you can ensure that he's around to make videos in 7.4 and beyond.
Are you eating Bellular's pot noodle?
Yes.
Knowledge is power.
Plenty of WoW news to be covering this week with all that tantalising new 7.3 stuff from the PTR, but I want to start this episode with the Tomb of Sargeras Mythic World First Race. I know this is a subject that tends to split the community somewhat. For every player who gets genuinely excited about each new World First Race, follows it intensely, has a favourite team and considers it a genuine event in the World of Warcraft community calendar, there are just as many who are hostile to the idea that any attention is given to it at all. Which I've got to admit is a bit strange to me, because surely these are the real life heroes of the WoW community. The ones that push themselves to play this game we all love at its absolute cutting edge. These are the real adventurers, the mostly men in their 20s who take 2 weeks off work or school but never off their gym membership every time a new raid drops to test themselves against the very toughest challenges that WoW has to offer, vying to become the first in the world to defeat the new content and be crowned absolute total big dick champions before going back to the gym until the next raid drops and they do it all over again. And it is easy to see why some people have a bit of an aversion to the World First Race. There is something just a little bit macho and masochistic about it, isn't there? But personally, I really like it. Just like I'm glad that RP exists even though I don't engage with it personally. So I'm really glad the hardcore raiding scene exists. It all enriches the game exactly because it's people playing the game in a completely different way to me. And don't worry, because we are not going to get very deep into this, but it's worth talking about right now because at the time of recording, it's nearly over. In fact, I wouldn't mind betting that by the time you watch this video, it will be over. Method and Exorsus both now sitting at 8 out of 9 with only Kil'Jaeden to beat only. Which does sound a bit like the same old story recently, doesn't it? There are no big guilds anymore, only Method and Exorsus have a chance. Was one of the very first squares I was able to scratch off my Tomb of Sargeras World First bingo card. Just before, what? The first 3 bosses are down already? This raid is easy mode, fuck you Blizzard. The only reason EU guilds are better is that no one else cares enough. And just after, I miss when it was Finland versus the world. Me too. I miss you, Finland. But whatever happens, and whoever takes the crown, whether it be Method, Exorsus, or one of the many, many other guilds currently just a boss behind, it's been a pretty exciting race. As usual, the first few bosses went down incredibly quickly, with Tide Mistress being the first significant hurdle before everyone, and I mean everyone, hit the massive fuck-off brick wall of Fallen Avatar, which meant for a while there were no less than 12 guilds at the exact same penultimate stage of progression. People were saying it was mathematically impossible, it had to be, and it was looking like no one would be able to manage it without another reset and more split clears to gear up from. Method then pulled that shit out of the bag and downed it after 450 pulls. And whatever your allegiance is, and whether you give a shit about it or not, that is some impressive raiding right there. In fact, they got the world first on Avatar, and then technically they got world second too, as after the reset, they managed to eventually re-clear 2 Kil'jaeden before anyone else had got past Avatar. And as only Exorsus have joined them since, it is certainly looking like one of the expected EU big boys is gonna win this one. Even if, at the time of recording, neither has managed to get to the mythic-only final stage of the Kil'jaeden fight where Jaina joins in. So, you know, maybe there's a way to go yet. But I really want to talk about 2 slightly smaller guilds that have caught the imagination in this race. The first being Big Dumb Guild. Now, straight away you can tell that BDG aren't a super serious hardcore progression guild because they don't have a one-word name. And that's like rule number 1 if you want people to take your guild seriously. Everyone knows that. A one word, preferably no more than 2 syllables, because you don't have time for multiple syllables when you're fitting split runs in between gym sessions, okay? So method, limit, vodka, easy, pieces, nova, future, anal, these are proper guild names, okay? And Big Dumb Guild don't quite fit that template in more ways than one. They're a semi-casual guild from the US with an evening raid schedule who decided to just spend the first day of Mythic Tomb hardcore day raiding as soon as it opened. So while the big US guilds were doing heroic split runs before jumping into the new raid, and EU guilds were still waiting 24 hours for it to even open, BDG went and got 3 world first and 2 world second mythic kills on those easier first bosses. I love this attitude because I totally relate to it. It's always been my ambition to run the London Marathon, okay? And I've always thought, what if I ran the marathon with no intention of actually finishing it? What if, as soon as I started, I just sprinted, like as long and hard as I possibly could, knowing that I would never be able to finish the race? Because I think if I did that, if I just sprinted, I could get to the front. I've got this fantasy that I could sprint past all of the professional athletes and for 5 glorious minutes lead the London Marathon before collapsing in a heap and getting put in intensive care, obviously. And what if I did that wearing a massive banana costume? How cool would it be to be winning the London Marathon just for a couple of minutes wearing a banana costume? And that's basically what Big Dumb Guild did here. They took one day off, they sprinted the fuck out of those easier bosses, they got their world firsts, and now that's them pretty much done in this race. They're back to a casual raid schedule and have only killed 1 more boss in the week since. Big Dumb Guild, you are my heroes. In fact, you deserve a proper one-word guild name. Rim Job? I don't know. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. And the other guild I wanted to spotlight here are called Invective, who it's fair to say have caused quite a stir in the community for pretty much the exact opposite reasons to Big Dumb Guild. And I really wanted to talk about Invective, but we're just not going to have time because too much else has happened this week. And we really have to move on, but needless to say, they're made up of largely ex-Wildstar players. Imagine WoW if all the characters were either gnomes or pandas. That's pretty much Wildstar. They've set up their WoW guild specifically to day raid and fight for world first later down the line, which is great. Welcome, Invective. The more serious US guilds, the better. The more any players or guilds, the better. Seriously, welcome. A while ago, they tried recruiting for their WoW guild on the Wildstar forums. I'm posting this message here as I know even a mediocre Wildstar player is potentially on par with top tier WoW players. Now, like I say, I really want to talk about this. I really want to talk about how proud I am of the WoW community, with the way they were willing to be grown up and mature about this, to overlook that relatively old post and welcome Invective into the community anyway, to not let some stupid old post upset them and instead be supportive of a new guild who are genuinely trying to... No, it was a shit show. Obviously. Obviously it was, and I'd love to show you some of the funnier comments. Stuff like, you'll need to stop being so unfair to Invective. I firmly believe they'll get Mythic Archimon down this week. They didn't kill Kil'jaeden on purpose. Too easy for them. Wildstar is the real challenge. Stop it with the troll posts about Invective. They're waiting for Method and Exorsus to get 6 bosses down. Then they will start raiding, and totally not give airtime to some of the downright abusive comments. But we don't have time, and I'm sorry Invective, because I was going to put up a solid defense of you and laugh at you a little bit too, but mostly defend you, but we don't have time. I'm sorry, Evitel.
There's been more 7.3 stuff added to the PTR this week, and we're going to talk about it, so consider this your big fat spoiler warning. And if you don't want to hear or see anything about 7.3, then skip to the time shown on the screen now. So this week on Argus, testers will find new story chapters and the first world quests added to the upcoming 7.3 content. But as usual, the really exciting news comes from the data mining community, who have found a series of new armor sets which have the rather tantalizing name Kul'Tiras Quest. Now, Kul'Tiras is of course the name of the as yet never-before-seen in-game home of Jaina Proudmoore, generally considered to be where she is currently hiding out, doing whatever it is she's doing, and #1 candidate for the location of the next WoW expansion. So, as you can imagine, people are pretty excited. Is there going to be a quest in 7.3 that takes us to Kul'Tiras? And will it be a self-contained Chromie-style scenario, or the first step towards setting things up for the next expansion? What kind of mood will Jaina be in when she returns to the fold? A kind of, I'm an awesome hero and I'm going to save everyone type mood, or a, I'm the latest in a long and proud line of good characters turned into corrupted big bads type mood. The armor sets themselves are pretty uninspiring, but with some interesting details, like the barnacles around the hem. Kul'Tiras is after all an island nation, and could this be hints at the much anticipated South Seas expansion for 8.0? That and the shipswarp style belts certainly suggest Kul'Tirans as a House Greyjoy Ironborn type of people, which is pretty awesome. There also appears to be tentacle designs embroidered into the robes, which is pretty standard for shit that has a nautical theme. But obviously everyone is now saying old gods in capital letters, like this, old gods. Because if you didn't know, old gods are pretty certain to be the big news in the future of Warcraft. And if you didn't know, old gods love tentacles. Tentacles are like an old god's favorite thing. Like, you know how much the Legion love portals? Or how much Khadgar loves rainbows? Yeah. Old gods love tentacles even more than that. Tentacles are pretty much their thing. And I think that's about all there is to talk about the new armor sets. Oh, apart from the map of what we assume is Kul'Tiras stitched to the side of the robe. Yes, these armor sets, which are called Kul'Tiras Quest, have a map of an unknown landmass stitched to the side for all to see, which is not exactly subtle, but boy is it ever intriguing. Is this a straight up preview of a new continent for the next expansion? If it is, which way is up? Are the feet south, as if it's designed to be seen by people looking at you in your incredibly practical map robes? Or are the feet north, like it's designed to be flipped up and looked at by the wearer like a nurse's upside down watch? And if it's not Kul'Tiras, what the hell actually is it? Like, what is going on here? I guess that's the problem with data mining. It only ever raises more questions than it answers. We'll update you on this as and when we know more.
There's also the suggestion in the PTR at the moment that artifact knowledge is going to change in 7.3, with everyone, yes, even the dirty casuals, getting instantly boosted to AK-41, and then automatically boosted a level every week. I mean, I say that's a change, and it is, but it's essentially what happens now anyway, except you won't have to put in any work orders manually. What it really means is that, contrary to some predictions, it looks like artifact power is still going to be a thing on Argus. How big of a thing, we don't know, but it is a thing. Welcome back, thing. And if, like Invective, you're all finished with Mythic Tomb of Sargeras and need a new, not really new raiding challenge, don't forget this coming reset sees the Burning Crusade timewalking event, which means Black Temple timewalking raid is here. Get together a group of friends and party like it's 2007 all over again. Although obviously it's not exactly like 2007. You're not going to have to run dungeons for months to get the fucking medallion of fucking Caribou just so you can enter the fucking thing for a start. Illidan probably isn't going to be a 20-minute fight anymore, and you don't have to even slightly pretend to give a shit about the Hoosiers. But, you know, apart from that, it's pretty much exactly like 2007 right here.
Oh, well that was an exciting world first race, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Yeah, really exciting. And
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we didn't have to record this before it was actually over, so that we had to pretend like we knew who won the world first race.
Yeah, that would have been...
Really glad, but I think you'll all agree that the winner, if indeed there is a winner at this point,
Yeah,
thoroughly deserved.
100%.
Or completely controversial and maybe cheated and no one's quite decided how they feel about it yet.
Right.
But
It's
definitely
one or the other.
One of those two, I
Yeah.
think, oh wow.
It's definitely...
Classic
One of those.
race.
Yeah.
We want to give a special shout out in this video to our friend Luke, who a few weeks ago now,
Hey, Luke.
we were standing at a bus stop in Sutton.
Yep.
And
in the burbs.
Luke was at work and he came out and we were dressed pretty much like this actually. We'd just been to a wedding.
The night before.
It was very early in the morning and we were a bit hungover. And Luke came up to us and the first person that has ever asked for a selfie with us in the street.
Yeah.
Being Taliesin and Evitel. So thank you, Luke. Shout out to you. He's our pal. We like Luke.
He's bummed.
Luke's one of the good ones.
Yeah.
I hope Luke enjoyed this video. I hope Luke didn't hate it. I hope Luke wasn't like, do you know what? They've gone down
You know
fucking
what?
hill since I met them. They're
Yeah.
awful. They're the worst. Don't unsubscribe, Luke. We're almost at 100k. We need you. If you did like it, thank our patrons. They give their actual real life money
They
to
do.
help this channel happen. And without them, this video wouldn't exist.
Nope.
Neither would probably any of our videos at the moment either.
None of this, yeah.
So thank you so much. If you didn't like it though, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Savix.
And I'm Hansel. I think it's getting to a stage where we just use gibberish words.
I think it's getting to the stage where we're going to have to start using like professional wrestler names or something like that. So hot. I'm like dying of heat. Whose fucking idea was it to put on a suit jacket and lights and sit here in like the hottest day of the last fucking 100 years or whatever?
I know, and I'm wearing clothes.
Yeah,
Like,
that is
not
something
my
we were not
natural
doing
state.
like 5 seconds ago
I know.
before this. This is terrible. This video can't end soon enough.
I know.
I'm sure you'll agree. From me, Taliesin.
And me, Evitel.
Cheerio.